Welcome to another HackerRank challenge. This one's called Mutations. And in this one, we're given a string with a number of characters, and we're supposed to replace one specific character at a certain index with a different character. So in this example here, we're provided with the string abracadabra, and now we're supposed to replace the character in position 5, which is this A, with the character K. Now, the reason that this is challenging is that we are able to access individual characters from a string by addressing them with the index, just like we do with a list, but we can't actually assign new characters like this. So we would get an error message. Now, there's lots of different ways we can do this. Interestingly, they gave us two solutions here already. And if you're just looking for the green check mark, you can pretty much just copy paste these in here, but maybe let's work through these a little bit more slowly and really understand what's going on. So our first strategy is going to be to take our string and turn it into a list. For lists, we can take the elements of the lists, address them individually, read them, but also change them. So that's what we're going to use here. And then we'll use the join function to concatenate our list back into a string and then print out our string. Okay, let's have a look at the code. What we have over here is a block of code that we cannot change. This just reads the input and then applies a function called mutateString that then gives us the output, which is going to be printed out. And it's up to us to write this function mutateString to perform our task. Now, when starting these problems, it's always good to just have a look at what exactly the input looks like. So let's print out our S, print out the position, and print the character, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. Okay, let's have a look. And yep, we can see here, just like in the example on the left here, our word is abracadabra. We're looking to replace the character at index 5 with a K. And then this none down here is just because of this print statement. Currently, our function does return none. Okay, now let's implement our code. The first thing that we're going to do is turn our string into a list. And that's really easy. We can just typecast list, and we'll store that into a variable called L for now. So let's print out that variable L. So this should be a list now that has the characters of the string as elements. Yeah, and that's just what we're getting. So now all we need to do is grab the character that we want to replace. In this case, it's the one at index 5, and assign a new character to it. Okay, now that we have our characters in a list, all that we need to do is select our element with the index position. So in the specific example, it's 5 position, and we will assign our new character. So that will be character. Let's print this and see what it looks like. Yep, so you can see we're getting a slightly altered list that reads abracadabra. And we've actually successfully replaced our character A that was in this position with a K. So now we just need to take this list and join it back into a string. And the way that we do this is we first declare our new string variable. So we'll just call that new string. And now we need to join all the elements in this list. And the way that we do this is using the join function. And first we'll specify an empty string because we don't want any new string characters to be inserted in between the elements in our list. So empty string character it is. Then we'll call the join method and just pass in our list, which is called L. So that will actually be our final result. So let's return that, get rid of this print statement and run our code. And that should do it. Yep, so we'll submit our code, make sure it clears all the test cases, which it does. And yep, that's one way of solving this problem. Now they actually give us another example of how to solve this problem. And I think this one's actually kind of cool, so let's give this a try as well. In this one, what we do is we take our string and we slice it. And what that means is we'll take the characters prior to the one that we want to replace, then insert the new character, and then join that with the characters after the character that we want to replace. Okay, let's have a closer look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually call this bit S1 and this bit S2 so that we can have a bit of a closer look at this. So first we'll have our first string S1, which is going to be the slice of the string that covers everything up until the character that we want to replace. So that would be S, and then the colon indicates all the characters up until a certain index. So in this case, the index is called position. And then we'll have another string which is going to cover everything after that. So that would be position and then everything after. Now we have to be careful because this would include the character that we're actually trying to replace, and we don't want that. So we'll go +1, and then we actually have our character that we're going to insert in between. So our return value is just going to be S1 plus character. Using the plus sign, we can just join these strings very conveniently, and S2. Now, this should work, but let's print out these strings individually as well so that we can see this work better. So we'll print S1, we'll print our character, and we will print S2 as well. Okay, and we can see here that actually worked as we had hoped. So we have our up, which is the string up until the point that we want to replace it. Then we'll have the character that we want to replace, and then the rest of the string. And if we put that all together, we get the correct result. So let's remove these print statements, and if we run it now, it should actually give us the check mark. It does. We'll submit our code, make sure it runs through the test cases, which it does. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you at the next one.